Welcome to the Put Up, everybody. I'm A.K.A. the Wizard, and this is where all the untold stories are finally heard. This is episode 30 now on, I guess, season 2, episode 7, but 30 episodes total so far. And it will not disappoint because we have our first female guest on the show ever today. Let's welcome Lavender Fire Music to the Put Up, guys. How
Thank
you
you so
doing?
much. Hey, I'm doing really good. How are you?
I'm doing as well as always. I always say, like, I am the party. Like, wherever I go, we just have a good time regardless, you know?
Plus, when you're sitting in a comfy chair like that, you're
Yeah,
like,
right?
I am chill. Life is awesome.
Yeah, and we've done it a few times now, so I'm like comfortable with it. You know what I mean? And like, I'm just glad to have you here today. That's
Hey,
amazing. Thanks for coming.
yes, of course. And thank you for putting out the word that you were looking for people. I'm like, hey, okay, cool. A podcast where I get to go talk and talk about my music. And you like all genres? Okay, cool. Yay.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, tell everybody real quick before we even get started. You play the piano, you
Mm-hmm.
sing, and I've seen like a ton of live performance from you, right? It's amazing.
Oh, thank you. So, yes, I play piano and I sing. I'm a piano based singer songwriter from Virginia. So, I'm down here in the States.
Virginia. I used
Yeah.
to go there actually.
Oh, really? Where? Where? It's like,
We used to,
seriously, where in Virginia?
remember I said how I was making those like business meeting recordings or whatever, right?
Yes, you did. Yeah,
So
we
we
mentioned
yeah,
it
we
all
used to
the time.
cross the border and go down there and like to I think I'm trying to remember the place now.
So, I wonder if it would be my neck of the woods.
Damn. I forget what the name is. It's in Virginia though. They had these big conferences with like a couple thousand people and we'd like show up there, book a hotel for like 3 days and just like while out the whole time, you know?
I mean, it could be Richmond, could be the capital.
Um,
Capital
dude,
city,
they were
Richmond.
doing yoga in the streets on a Saturday morning. Like
Oh, God,
a
I
big
have no
public
clue.
thing. Yeah, it was crazy. Like I'm trying to remember what it was called. I can't Confederation Drive or something like that. I don't know. I'll get back to you on that.
We'll get back to that. But yeah, so I'm from Virginia. And I play piano and I sing. So if you are into a lot of artists like Tori Amos or Kate Bush, if you really miss the sound of like the Lilith Fair from the 90s,
Yes.
I am your girl.
And
And
you
I'm
do it
also
very well too.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's epic.
And also I'm also my own producer and engineer. Like I mix my own stuff. I do everything.
That's amazing.
Eventually, I do want to bring in other players. One of my plans is to eventually have like a drummer and a couple other people like doing shows with me. But for now, it's just me. And I mix and record everything myself. Like that microphone you see right back there, that blue microphone, that's what I record on.
Sweet.
And that's my Yamaha DGX 230. Got it for $200 at BJ's Wholesale Club. Got it on a whim because I always wanted to play piano. And I was like, actually, can I curse on here? Can I curse on here?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I said, fuck it. I'm going to learn to play piano and I'm going to get this thing. I'm not going to do it too much though. But I just got it on a whim and I've been teaching myself to play it. The very first thing I tried to teach myself to play, and I still can't completely play it, is Moonlight Sonata.
Oh damn. Yeah, I can't do that one.
Yeah, that one's a little hard because my hands are small. I'm like short. I'm 5'3" on a good day. I'm like shorty McShort. So I have small hands, and it's hard to do that. Like, but yeah, that's what I do, and I write my own stuff. But I can occasionally do covers, like if I'm at an open mic night. Like, sure, I'll try doing something. But that's what I do. So that's
Nice.
basically in a nutshell.
That's amazing. Well, we're gonna go right back to the start with the interview questions today, okay?
Cool.
Let's hear how you got started as like an artist right from the beginning. Where did it come from?
A lot of it came from my parents. So my parents are not really musicians, but they wanted my brother and I to do something. And so my parents said, okay, well, let's try and get them into music. And I was the kind of kid that, like, if I was at Home Depot with my dad or my mom, I was
Love
always
Home
listening to the
Depot.
music. I mean, who doesn't love Home Depot? Because also my parents would like do a lot of DIY stuff around the house. So, and they wanted to teach me how to do stuff too. So they're like, hey, you need to know how to take care of stuff, how to hammer a nail and all that. So I was always in tune with music, and my parents were always playing music. Like they were playing like the local soft rock station or oldies, playing that in the car.
God, it's like you're telling my
And
story. It's wild.
really?
Yes, literally.
Because like I had boomer parents, and so I would listen to a lot of 50s and 60s music, and I would just like hum along. I knew a lot of the words, even though I couldn't tell you who the artist was. And when I was about 10 years old, my parents gave me a guitar, and I took guitar lessons, and I did okay with it. And then really band is where it really kind of took off, where like I was a clarinet player. I
Okay.
still have my clarinets.
I was a trumpet player.
Oh, hey, okay, you were in the brass.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be like I tried playing a brass instrument, but I could not get past the kind of thing you
Yeah.
had to do.
Literally just like farting with your lips the
Yeah,
entire
exactly. I was like, an immature 10-year-old. I'm like, oh my God, I'm farting as I'm pulling in this. So, but then like I always like knew I kind of wanted to like do music and stuff like that. And it was really going to this event when I was 16, and it was hosted by a bunch of other songwriters. And I was like the only one like teenager there, but I felt very grown up. Like nobody treated me like a kid. And like he talked about the importance of a hook book and other songwriting things. And that's really where the songwriting bug like got me. And then, at that time, it wasn't easy to really record your own stuff. You had to go to a physical recording studio to do it. And I think looking back on it, I would have gone to school to be like to study producing and stuff, but like girls weren't encouraged to do that kind of thing. And even then, like female producers are still pretty rare. And
That's wild to think about, right?
It is. And like,
yeah, man.
But in a lot of what I've learned, it's just eventually I just kind of sat down with GarageBand and eventually Logic, and I just kind of taught myself. So it's been a long journey. Like it really started when I was a kid, and just I'm always learning. And if I want to learn how to do something in Logic, I just go to YouTube and see how to do it. See what other people are doing.
There's like 50 courses out there on everything you could possibly think about for engineering or producing anything these days, right? Isn't it crazy how like technology changed? I was talking about that, I think, in the last interview about how like back then you couldn't just record, and now all of a sudden for $200 you can own a whole studio essentially and like do whatever the heck you want, right?
It is nuts. Like my whole album that I have that I just put out was recorded in this room.
Yeah, wild, right?
On this computer, right? Like I could have never. If you had told 16-year-old me when I was 16 years old I'd be able to do that, I'd be like, you gotta be shitting me.
Yeah, because I remember back, like I had to buy a special interface with a special version of Pro Tools when it first came out to the consumer market, and like they wouldn't work with just anything, right?
Right.
It took me 3 months to make it connect to each other so I could even get sound into a computer.
Oh,
this is wild. This is like 2001,
which is about the time that I like started to be like, ooh, I want to like learn to write my own songs and all that. But yeah, it was really with making things more accessible to people that like I really started to blossom, and being able to teach myself how to do stuff, how to do things and all that.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
So walk us through like your style or sound. What makes it stand out?
First of all, I play piano. Like,
which is pretty,
which
as the cookie crumbles, that's like kind of custom today. You know what I mean?
Like, it is like, and honestly, like there have always been piano singer-songwriters, but I think as far as like them being mainstream, a lot of that was like more in the 70s.
Right.
So yeah, the fact that I play piano, and also that some of the things I sing about make me stand out because I am openly gay.
Right.
I'm an openly lesbian. So I write about, if I'm writing a love song, I'm writing about my partner. So I am also writing about what it's like to undo a lot of what you learned, like the things you learn growing up that like you have to unlearn when you come out of the closet. It's not just you wake up one day and you're like, oh, hey, I'm a lesbian. Like, no, there's a whole process you have to go through, and it's different for every person. So I write about that. So, and also I write a lot about like self-acceptance and healing. Like I want my music to feel healing for people.
Mm.
especially not just for people who have been in my situation. Like, I want this to be music, just I'm writing about my experiences, like my human experiences.
I
And
caught a lot of
especially
that actually listening to your music, well, like, when I
really?
went and checked it out. Yeah, I was like, "This is
Hmm.
a lot, like, relatable," even though I know what it's about or whatever because of the context, right? I'm like,
Hmm.
but it could apply to so many people, right?
I think no matter who you are, like we're always kind of dealing with like figuring out who you are beyond
Right.
just what society wants you to be, or is like what you've been told since you were a kid. And so I want my music to be comforting for people and like maybe even making them feel like, oh, wait a minute, I'm not alone. And even more like if and also just giving a voice to people who haven't really whose stories have always been around but we just haven't been heard. With me being LGBT, we've always been around, we're in every culture, we're in every language, we've always been here.
I mean, look
But
back into the music industry, right? That's, like, the main place where we used to see it, like, openly, right? It was, like, all
mhm.
those artists from, like, even back in, like, Queen and stuff like that, like, all this stuff, right?
Or hell, Elton John.
Yeah. Well, no, you mentioned, right? Yo, tell them about
Yeah.
that. Tell them about that piano thing.
Yeah, so I mean, speaking of piano, so a couple of weeks ago, I was a finalist for a local contest here in Virginia called the Proteus Music Contest. And for I was chosen as a finalist, and at this venue, they have an actual piano. They have a grand piano. So I went there for rehearsal one night because I like to get to know like the piano because every piano is a little different, as
Yeah,
far
they
as
all
like the
play a little
pedals
differently.
and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like the pedals and also like the weight of the keys. And so they're wheeling out this grand piano. And the lady, she's wheeling out, and also, yeah. So we got this beautiful grand piano here, and this piano was it toured with Elton John. And I'm like, I am not worthy. Like that's how I
Scared to touch
felt.
it, you know?
Like I was scared to touch. Oh my God, Elton John has touched these keys. Holy shit.
Maybe get a
But
little finger oil from him right on there, right? Like,
unless it was cleaned off, who knows? But it was
hopefully
the
not,
coolest
you
thing.
know?
Hopefully not. But it was the coolest thing. Like I didn't win the contest, but I don't ever go into contests like this expecting to win. I mean, it's always nice if you win. Because yes, it would be nice to have a headlining concert. Yes, it would be nice to have 8 hours of recording time at a local recording studio, even though I like this here, with all my Vaporeons and things like that. It's very comfy. But I got to play Elton John's fucking piano. Like I am gonna
Yes.
crow about that till the day I die. I'm gonna be a little old lady at home. Well, kids, I had to play Elton John's piano. Yeah, there she goes about Elton John's piano again. Yeah, that's gonna be me.
Yeah, I honestly think that's a selling point right there. I don't care, you know? Like,
and
playing the
I
piano myself, I'm like, "Yo, I wish I could have played that one too," right?
and I will say eventually on my YouTube page, I need to kind of futz with it a little bit. My wife was there, and so she filmed me playing on the
Oh,
piano.
nice.
So yeah, that's going to go out on my YouTube channel pretty soon because I got to play two songs. I had 10 minutes to impress the judges, and so I did two songs, and she filmed the whole thing, and it was just like, yeah, it was just the coolest thing. Like, oh my God, I got to play Elton
Amazing.
John's piano. And actually, one of my songs on my current album, when I played it for my wife, she was like, "This sounds like Elton John," and it kind of does,
I
actually.
have a song like that, actually. My
Oh,
wife said
really?
that to me too, yeah. I, like, I think I wrote it for my first daughter or something.
Oh,
And it has one of those chord changes in it that classically Elton John would have done. So she's like, "No, you can't use that. It's copying or whatever." I was like, "No, I'm using that."
yeah. You can't copyright a chord progression, otherwise, oh
Right.
geez, we'd all be fucked.
Yeah, right? Okay, so you touched on it a little bit before, right? What
Mhm.
inspires your music when you go to write something? Where do you get the actual idea for the project that you're working on at that point in time?
It comes from a lot of things. Sometimes it's me forcing myself, like through writer's block. I'm like, hey, I haven't written a song in a while, and I'm gonna force myself to write. Sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's just a random phrase, or sometimes it's a feeling.
Interesting.
Going back to like the hook book thing. So one of the things I learned in this songwriting workshop was the importance he called a hook book. And it was literally a book that, like, somebody says something interesting and you write it down and you can use that as a basis for a song. Or like you've got a melody, you look, consult your hook book. Oh, hey, the melody I have works with this thing. Mine is a digital. Mine's on my phone. It's the Notes app on my phone.
Oh my gosh, back it up. You know what I mean? That's what.
So it's sometimes it's just random phrases. Sometimes it's also something I'm working through that I need to just
almost like therapy or something, eh?
Exactly. Like some of my, especially one of the songs we're going to play later, that was a therapy session.
Okay.
The Arsonist. That was a bit of a like working through residual things from when I restarted my life. So it's a lot of different things. Or sometimes it's like, oh, I want to write a song that sounds like so and so, or sounds like such and such, or I'm sitting here bored waiting for calls with my day job, and I'm going to pull up Logic and put in a chord progression and just sing over it and see what happens.
Nice. It's
I'm
like
always
practice,
open to,
but it could become something, you know?
Exactly. And me being like kind of ADD kind of thing, like I've got like 50,000 different projects that I can just kind of open up and eventually turn into things.
Sweet. Okay, so like walk us through one of these. Like how does it become from like an idea to a finished product on Spotify type thing?
It depends on the song. Sometimes it's a quick process. So like it'll start with like, let's say, actually let's do one of mine. We'll do one of the songs we're gonna play here. Roommates. That's gonna be coming up. That one started with an idea. That started with like the meme of like, oh, you know, they spent their whole lives together and yeah, they were just roommates, kind of thing, like that idea. And then I went, okay. And then I was riding my bike one day because I ride my bike around my neighborhood. And I just started singing, we're just roommates, nothing to see here. So I just started singing something. And so I'm like, okay, I'll pull out my phone. Let me write this down. The next
Stop the bike.
Oh, stop the bike. Stop the shit. I'm going to write this down before the music's leaving. So I do that. And I usually like to start with something that's like just easy to just whatever comes to the top of my head, because that's going to be the easiest for people to remember. And then I go home, I figure out what the hell key I was even singing in. And then I write out some of the chords. I write out the chords and kind of go like from there with like the idea. And that one from start to finish took probably about 2 months.
2 months, eh? Interesting.
Now there are other songs. So like there was one actually literally I started today. That was a remake of something I started like 5 years ago. And I decided to like take that idea and put it in a different way. And I'm actually liking it a lot more. So, and even so, there's sometimes stuff that I start years ago that eventually becomes finished. It all really depends.
You know what? Mine's like that too. A lot of my music I wrote like 20 years ago and it's still not out today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been trying to, like, I've played them live. I've done all kinds of things, like putting them into Pro Tools different ways with different productions and things. Trying to find the one, you know, for each song but they were written when I was like 10, 15.
Oh,
it's
wow.
Crazy. But yeah, we're actually going to hear that first song, I think.
Yeah, so the first song we're going to be hearing here is the opening track for my new album, From Shadows to Light, which is, I didn't intend it to be like a concept album, but it is basically a concept album about coming out later in life and sometimes some of the mess that comes with it, and all, but also learning to like heal and accept who you really are and learning to be happy with it. And this song, I wrote this about the moment that I said, okay, I was married to a guy for a long time. And I wrote it about that moment where I realized I can't pretend anymore. I need to go start my life over. And I need to put an end to it.
Sorry, the song title just slipped my mind. What is it called again?
The Arsonist.
The Arsonist. All right, we're going to roll it. Roll that track.
I walked in the ashes for so long that smoke has stained my soul. I walked with burns on my hands from the moment 6 years ago. I always ran from the home he built, hiding in shame I didn't want to feel. I always ran from the winds of truth that I knew were coming for me. And maybe someday the stains will wash away. Maybe someday I'll forget that December day when I threw the match. Then I turned around and turned dust to dust, the arsonist. And oh, we built the perfect facade as my truth blew against the walls. And we let that house go to the sky till I couldn't hold it, so I let it fall. And maybe someday I'll forgive myself. And maybe someday put it on the shelf. 'Cause I threw the match, then I turned around and turned dust to dust, melting our rings. He's not who I want. I turned dust to dust, 'cause I'm the arsonist. Wish I'd known myself sooner that I didn't want him, I wanted her. Well, maybe someday the stains will wash away. Well, maybe someday I'll forget that December day when I threw the match. Then I turned around and turned dust to dust, melting our rings. He's not who I want. I turned dust to dust, 'cause I'm the arsonist. 'Cause I'm the arsonist.
Welcome back to the Put Up, everybody. I'm A.K.A. the Wizard, and we have Lavender Fire here with us today for the interview. And the song that you just heard was called The Arsonist.
Mm-hmm.
And just before we get started into the interview, again, everybody like, share, and subscribe below if you're just joining us, or if you've been here and you haven't yet for some reason. And just a quick shout out actually to Only the Host. And we got the Canadian, or not Canadian, it's the Collaborative Artists Network. I'm Canadian. And then we got Pixie Post in the chat, and also I believe Jay Fair, Dope Growth TV. Welcome everybody. That's great that we have so many people here today. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're gonna get into the beefy part of the interview now. Struggles.
Mm-hmm.
What has been the hardest thing in your music career so far that you've experienced that you've had to overcome, like making music?
You know, when you sent me these questions, I was thinking about this because there have been a few. And one of them was COVID.
I think that affected a lot of people, actually, right?
Yeah,
Especially the creative people, not being able to go out and do things properly, right?
Because one of the things I really loved doing before COVID was going to a lot of open mics in my area and just networking with people, and I was unable to do that. But I mean, that was one of them. Sometimes some of the other challenges are like having to do a lot on social media that like sometimes I just don't have the energy for. Because it's really easy to put your stuff out now, but sometimes it's harder to get noticed. And you have to
Right.
really, really stand out, which is why
Algorithms.
algorithms are sometimes they're a friend and sometimes they're not. So that's been one little struggle. If you had asked me this like a year ago, it would have been like, oh, getting gigs or something like that. But that's actually, knock on wood, has gotten a lot better because I've been able to go to open mic nights and like collaborate with other people and all that. Sometimes it's one of my other struggles, because I've had a lot here. One of my other struggles is like sometimes I used to feel weird being the only girl at an open mic night.
Interesting. Because when
like,
I go to open mics, like there's lots of girls there.
Really?
Yeah, it's almost like more so than guys playing. That's crazy.
It's at least where I am. Sometimes
Yeah.
I would go to certain ones like to check it out. I'm like, oh my God, I'm the only girl here. And it would feel weird
Wild.
for me because I felt like I needed to like prove myself a little more to show why I'm here and that I'm worthy to play with the boys or whatever. But I don't know that it's just been a lot of I wouldn't say there's really one big one. It's just been a lot of little ones. But yeah, I've just a lot of little ones, whether
Okay.
COVID or, trying to get your stuff out there and trying to stand out in some way. I actually used to do music under a completely different name. And then I rebranded myself as Lavender Fire because it's easier to find. And it's also a hell of a lot easier than my real name.
I will say when I Googled your name, it came right up with all of your stuff. Boom. Because it's not like that when you Google Chris Collins, for instance.
Because that is a pretty
50
common
of us,
name.
half of them are famous. It's crazy. There's a basketball player. There's a freaking CEO of some big company. Like you can't find me if you like first just say that,
Mm-hmm. And that's what I wanted. I wanted something where like, oh, I heard this thing, so I like Google it and you easily find everything.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so like on the flip side of this, like what's been your greatest success in the music industry so far then?
I mean, one of my proudest moments we were talking about earlier, playing Elton John's piano, was like
amazing.
was just a freaking amazing thing. And so that, and just like being noticed for my stuff, like along with all these other people, like I was up there with a bunch of other talented people, including one of my other friends, Tina Chavez, and she's another one of my friends. She also participated in a singer-songwriter night that I host every quarter called Songbird Sessions, which is an all-female singer-songwriter showcase. I have a big long list of like other female artists I met at open mic nights, and she was one of them I encountered at one of the other open mic nights here. And just being with like among her and a bunch of other people that were all just super, super talented, and we were all very different, which I really liked. Like we all kind of had our own style. So that's one thing I'm very proud of. Another thing I'm really proud of was a couple of years ago. So there's another Discord community I'm a part of called New Artist Spotlight. And we've got people all over the world. And I collaborated with a guy his real name is Nick, but he goes by Eleanor Collides. And he and I wrote a song together and it got played on British radio.
Nice. No, I just did that like a week ago.
Really?
In the UK. Yeah, just sent like vocals to the UK.
Yeah, that one was a different show, but that was, yeah, it was this guy. It was BBC One. I
That's
can't
one
remember.
of the big ones too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the big ones. And it was played at the end of the show. And like Nick told me when it was going to be playing. I'm like, okay, you're in the UK. You're 5 hours behind me. Okay, cool. Oh, okay, this is going to be playing at like 4 p.m. Okay, so like put it on my phone and I'm listening. And the fact I'm like, this is 2023 and I'm listening to British radio on my phone. This is really fucking cool. And then
weird.
they started and weird. And they played it and I started crying like, oh my God, like other British people are hearing my voice. Oh my gosh.
Man, that's amazing though. At the same time, right?
And he and I have since collaborated on a bunch of other stuff. He's really, really cool. Like, I feel like if he were on this side of the world, I'd be like, hey, we'd be like hanging out, like doing collaborations all the time. But that's another moment I'm proud of. But especially Elton John's piano. I got to play Elton John's piano. So I'm super proud of that. And also getting nominated for a Veer Award. So Veer is a local magazine here in Hampton Roads, Virginia, Virginia Beach area. And every year they have an award show. And so it's like showing off like the best of our scene. And I got nominated in the folk acoustic category.
That's
and
amazing.
just like to see my name with a bunch of other people up there. And also like some of my other friends were nominated too, like my friend Cadence. They were nominated in the same category. And it was just like, oh, I want you to win, but also I kind of want to win. You know, I'm going up against my friend.
Can we both win? You know?
Yeah, can we both? Yeah, those I've had quite a few very proud moments. So
nice. No, it's finally great to get like recognition after you've been like putting in all this work all the time, right?
Oh yeah.
That's the key to the whole thing. It's like that feel good of finally getting recognized and seen by other humans finally, right?
And on that same note, you know, Veer a couple of weeks ago, they put out in their latest magazine, they have like their top 50 songs like sent in for the last couple months, and The Arsonist was on there.
There you go. See?
Yeah. And so I was also on that list with a couple of my other friends, like Emily Fraser was on there with one of her songs, and Cadence was on there too. Mrs. Leaky Eyes, she's another friend of mine, and she was on there with a song. She has a song called Our Boys.
So you know you're in the right place, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're with the right group of people. They're all getting noticed too, right? You know, it's epic.
So yeah.
I love it. All right, so let's get into how you make the music. You talked about the mic back there a little bit and the keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of interface do you put it all into? Like, how do you get it recorded? You said you use Logic, right?
Yep. So Logic is my baby. And I actually use that piano as a MIDI input. So
you're triggering like a sound library kind of thing on the computer, right?
Yep. So I can have it play as a Busendorf or a Steinway or a Yamaha. I think I tend to go with either the Steinway or the Yamaha. I kind of go between those two. And I just put it in as a MIDI input. And I use a click track. I always use a good, so it's like a nice even rhythm as I'm recording. And then when I'm done with the piano, once I've kind of got that like pretty solid, then I go and I start singing. And one of my favorite parts is doing background vocals. I like a lot of my influences are other women like Tori Amos, Kate Bush, Imogen Heap to a certain extent.
Imogen Heap. Oh my gosh, my wife loves her.
She's awesome. And I've seen her live too. And
dude, have you seen those gloves?
Yes, I have. And I just love what she does with technology. It really is. Like, yeah, but yeah, a lot of my influences like tend to be women. Although I will say also, I really love me some 80s music, especially Depeche Mode.
Okay. Yo, the funniest thing, I just heard them at a German Oktoberfest concert. Or not like
really?
Concert, it's like we have Oktoberfest in Kitchener here, right? And it's like the whole like 2-week thing, and like they do it a different way though. It's like a polka version of it. You know what I mean?
Oh my god, I'm just trying to picture.
And they got dancers, like a male and female dancer, like crew, like doing circles. Yo, it's funny as shit.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
So, also, so I do a lot of background vocals because also I want to fill out the space where like the piano fills out a lot of good space on its own because it is, technically a string and a percussion instrument.
It kind of carries all three parts of the music at the same time. The melody, the harmony, the percussional part of it, like the rhythm part of it, everything all at once, right?
So, but I also like to do background vocals because also I have a background in choir. So I was a choir girl for a long time. And when I was in choir, they placed me as an alto, which is the lower female part.
Which that's always doing harmonies.
And that's the one that does harmonies. Yeah. We're the ones, like, if you do not have the altos, we completely fall apart. But
my mom is an alto.
A lot of women are like, it's, and I know for me, like, as I get older, I'm probably going to slip more into the alto range. But also I have like soprano, like I've got this like very bright kind of voice, like right up here. But then I can also sing low, even though it's not super, super loud and audible. And so I like to use those different like parts of my voice And like even I'll even decide, like even on the Arsonist, like one of the harmonies I did, like I purposely made it a little bit more breathy. And so that later when I say the Arsonist, it's more belty. It's like it changes
Like
throughout the
production
song.
techniques to like really emphasize certain parts, right?
Because also like with my songs, I want people to go on a journey. I want them to I don't like to do a 4-chord song all the way through. That's just the same. I don't like doing that. No, I want to grab you by the hand and we're going somewhere. So, but yeah, I love doing background vocals because that brings in like a lot of my choir background. And it's also just fun to like sing with yourself where I'm going, okay, so I want to like triple, quadruple myself doing hi, like that. The end of the Arsonist was like 4 or 5 different voices of me, hi, and then I had another kind of thing, like doing a couple of those. Like it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with it.
You know what though? Like doing harmonies for certain people, as I found out recently, is like almost impossible.
Really?
So like, yeah, so like even last night, I told you I went to that little thing, right?
Yeah.
And like when they were singing their harmonies, all of a sudden he'd be singing her part instead of doing what he should be on his own. He was playing a guitar too, right? So he'd like, I call it like morphing, where they just like they are starting the right way, but then all of a sudden they're doing the other one again, you know? And my wife does that. If she tries to sing harmonies, she can only sing like usually the lead part, like the melody of it. And then like we've done one song successfully where I harmonize with her and it works. But then other times when I start singing that harmony, because I get it, I'm on a piano all the time too, right? So it's like harmonies are nothing to people like us, right? But then she'll start singing my part, you know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah,
I didn't know this was a thing until like recently. You got to have a gift to do harmonies.
And it takes a lot of practice, like to be able to hear, for me to be, sometimes like I have to lower the lead vocal part because otherwise I'll just start singing with that. I have to lower that part and then up the piano so I can hear that. Okay, so while I'm singing like up here on the tonic, I'm singing the 5th down here, kind of thing.
Yeah, for real.
So.
Is it something to do with like interval training on a piano or something, like knowing those 4s, 5ths, major thirds, all that kind of stuff? It has to be, right?
And it's a lot of that, and mostly ear training.
Yeah, and just knowing when to like modulate, because you're not always just doing a 3rd or a 5th or whatever, right? Sometimes you got to like do a different note there to make it sound right?
Or sometimes what I'll do, like I'll kind of double up. Like I have one part that's like, I have like the high part, like where I'm like, but then I have I'm doing
It's
the
like a
same
whole
thing, but
octave,
an octave
yeah.
down. Yeah.
Okay, so is there anything like quirky or weird that you do that you don't think any other artist does when you record?
I'm not real sure. I mean, I'm very boring. I have my water. I have water. I will admit sometimes I do not like have everything like soundproofed. So if my wife is coming home or something like that, you might hear the door slightly opening if you're like really listening in.
I got a waterfall in my room. I call it the waterfall whenever the toilet flushes like 2 floors
Oh
up.
no.
And all of a sudden I'm like recording, I'm like, damn it, the waterfall's in that tape.
So you probably have to go back and do another one, right?
Yeah, every time it happens. So I'm like, I've now got them trained. If I'm recording, no flushing the toilet. You know what I mean? Because I have 4 kids too, so it's like a wild thing
gosh.
here. Yeah.
But actually, I would say probably the unique thing I do is that I do a lot of like breath and like sometimes I will exercise before I sing.
See? Never heard that one before. That's
And
crazy.
the reason I do that is it kind of goes to like, so for a long time, I had my mentor and friend was Charlotte Martin, where we still talk occasionally. But I've stopped doing lessons and stuff with her because I haven't had time. But she's a singer-songwriter in her own right, and she was actually one of my one of my influences musically. And so she has her own music school, and so I took lessons from her. And see, she had her training in opera, and so a lot of her approach, as far as like warming up is to do a lot with your body. And so one of the things she started suggesting that I do with like, especially with helping with breath support and everything, was to exercise. So now I bike around my neighborhood, and sometimes in the morning when I'm done biking, I come home and I will record a take because I'm all like, my body is all warmed up. Because something, kind of to think about with singing is that it's more than just opening your mouth and hoping to God that something good comes out. A
Yeah,
lot
it's
of it is
blood
like,
flow, it's tension, it's all these other things physics-wise, right?
and mental. A lot of it is mental too. And so like I like if I'm even if like I haven't gone for a bike ride, 12-mile bike ride or something like that, like I'll sit there and I'm like doing like exercises like this, get
That's
my
crazy.
arms
Yeah, I never
here, or
thought of that
like,
before. Just to do some push-ups or something before you sing, like, yo.
I'm doing like pants and so like to activate like down here with your diaphragm. Because a lot of times they'll say, oh, it's singing teachers, oh, you need to sing from your diaphragm. But they don't talk about how it's supposed to feel. Like
Or
you
how to
should feel
support
like,
that,
or
right?
how
Like
to,
how to
yeah, or
actually
how to
do it
support
well.
it. And so I use like, her where she was coming from the classical world. And so I use some of that to preserve my voice.
Because those are like top-level singers, the opera singers, right? That's crazy.
They are fucking
Yo.
vocal athletes. And there's a lot that we can learn from them. You don't have to sing like Phantom of the Opera. Like you can still sing pop stuff, but just have it be well supported.
Yeah, they do everything with technique, right? That's crazy to think about. Wow.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think a lot of pop singers, really. I mean, I'm sure some of them have like a vocal coach that goes on tour with them. I'm sure Taylor Swift did before she did the Eras tour. Like, if you're going to sing for 3 hours, my God, woman, you would hope that she would have some sort of vocal coach, and I'm sure she does. But, I've heard of like Megan Trainor, for example. She had some vocal issues. Adele had vocal issues, and probably a lot of that comes down to like not really learning how to take care of yourself and your voice. So it's probably
Yeah,
part of it.
because like, okay, so my wife sings for me, like we're a duo, right? And we go out and do like 2-hour shows.
Mhm.
So she'll do like a vocal warm up, but I'm now thinking of like the stuff outside of singing. You know what I mean? All those other things you just mentioned there about like the physical exercising. It's interesting.
Yep. And it's something you don't really think about, but your body is your instrument.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. Then you know what I mean? That's
Mm-hmm.
crazy, yo.
Indeed.
All right, well, we're gonna hear another song, I think.
Yay!
Tell us about Roommates, the next one that's up.
Oh, Roommate. So this one I released first as a single last year, or actually earlier this year. And there is a different version on Spotify that's kind of more synth poppy. I was kind of thinking more Pet Shop Boys and some of these other 80s synth groups that were usually LGBT. And so this was inspired by like stories of other gay couples throughout the years who have had to hide under the guise of being roommates because otherwise people either wouldn't take them seriously or they would get in trouble. And so and there's also an undercurrent too of like how like a lot of queer female relationships are not taken seriously. Like they're like, oh no, they are just really good friends. Where it's like, no, we are not. We are more than just good friends. And it's interesting because sometimes when I play this song live for people, I sometimes play it live for crowds and they don't get it. And then I had one guy that came up to me after I played this live once, and he was like, I don't understand how people don't understand that the women in that song are together. And I'm like, right? Like they're together. But it's like some people are kind of in denial about it. But that's where that song came from. And it's even something that I've kind of encountered myself, where sometimes people like want to sing. Even sometimes in certain environments, I have to say that my wife is not my wife.
Damn, eh?
Mm-hmm.
I tell them
In certain environments, even yeah, right. I mean, usually those are people I don't want to be around anyway, but sometimes
right,
like I have to just for my own protection and her protection.
Interesting. Too. That's a whole nother, you could get into an entire thing on that. Jeez.
Seriously.
All right, well, let's go hear it.
Here we go. Roommate.
We're just roommates, nothing to see here. Only roommates, she knows all my fears. And I know hers. Well, we're just roommates, living our best life. only roommates riding in the night to each other. But all they'll see years from now, all they'll see, there's no man, must be roommates. Yeah, they were roommates. We're just roommates, far as they know. Only one bed, no men come and go. It's just her and me, 'cause we're just roommates out in the crowd. But behind curtains, everything's allowed. It's just her and me, but all they'll see years from now, all they'll see, there's no man, must be roommates. Yeah, they were roommates. Well, it's so much more. Yes, it's so much more. Her life's in mine, my soul's with hers, and she's with me. Oh, it's so much more. Yes, it's so much more. Her life's in mine, my soul's with hers, she's with me. Oh, yeah. But all they'll see years from now, all they'll see, look, darling girls, they were roommates. Yeah, they were roommates. They must have been roommates, or maybe just really good friends. No, they weren't. No, we aren't roommates. Cried at your grave. Roommates. Wrote you scented poem. Roommates. Gals being pals. Roommates.
Welcome back to the Put Up, everybody. I'm A.K.A. the Wizard, and we have Lavender Fire music over here today with us. And the song that you just heard is called Roommates.
Mm-hmm.
And that was off of your last album, is what you said? It was a single first, and then...
Yep. So it was a single first, and then I, on the single, well, the EP, it was Roommates, the synthy version. Then I had an acoustic version. Then I had an exclusive B-side, and then a cover. It was actually a cover of Riot Poof by Tori Amos.
Okay.
Continuing the queer theme there, because it's one of her songs that she wrote about a guy on her crew who came out of the closet. But then for my album, this version here that I sent you is for my album. It's slightly different than even the acoustic version I released, because I did something slightly different with like the background vocals. I also sang the lead vocal a little bit different because I sing this one live because people love it. People like it goes down a storm when I play it live. So it's changed a little even since the beginning of this year when I first released it.
Well, and I got into it, I think the other interview too, again, about like this like shift that's happened with the way we release music today compared to before, right? Where it's like you almost have to do a single first before albums and stuff now to keep people's attention with this like short attention span thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's wild to think about. So like do you often do like a single first for like any kind of project and then put out like another version of it after that that's like a little different or whatever?
Yep.
Cool.
Because I don't think of my songs as frozen in time. I think of them as like ever-changing beings, if you will.
Yeah, yeah.
And certainly when how I feel and sing how I feel about a certain song is going to change over time. The more I play it live, the more I connect with people, the more I talk to people about it. Um, I mean, even there's an older song of mine that I released under my first name that I've begun playing live, and I feel like I sing it differently now than I did when I first read it like 5 years ago. Because also I've had a lot more life experience, and also my voice has I've gotten even more comfortable with my
I was
voice
just gonna
since
say, yeah,
then.
you've probably gotten better at playing the piano while you're singing along with it, like all of that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
That's really cool. Because I've experienced the exact same thing when I play live. I used to suck. You know what I mean? And like now we're at a totally different you can't even it's not even like relatable almost when you hear stuff I did. Like I played one show in like 2017,
Mm-hmm.
barely made it through 45 minutes, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh.
but now I can just like nail a couple hours perfectly, like and sing half of them and she sings like it's nuts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I
yeah,
mean,
just
everything
keep
is
at
just
it.
practice. It's just
Yeah.
practice. That's what a lot of it is.
Yeah, practice makes perfect, just like the old adage, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay, so tell us how you connect with your fans with your art. How do you make it relatable to them?
So what I do is what I try to do is like get at like the basic human emotion of the song and go, okay, how am I going to post about this on TikTok? We're like, oh, if you have ever had to start your life over, take a listen to this song. And it's like it's pictures or whatever.
Now,
Like
are you
getting it.
thinking of that when you start writing the song, or is it like because I've had guys on here that were like, "Yo, I've made 50 pieces of content before I release the song." It's not
No,
like that, is it? Right?
no. I write the song and then I go, okay, what is like the basic emotion that I can put forth to people to get them one to get them interested and also to like get them to like have some sort of emotional connection to it. Um I also like at its core what I do to connect with people is just I write about human emotions. Like maybe the things that people don't want to acknowledge.
Mm.
We've got a lot of stuff in here that sometimes I think we don't want to deal with. And so I feel like what I want to do as an artist is one to comfort, to be like, hey, it's okay. I have felt this way too. It's okay for you to feel this way. But also, I want them to like dig into themselves and go, hey,
Mm.
wait a minute.
That introspective thought thing, right?
Mm-hmm. I want people to think. I want them to go, well, hey, wait. Oh, she wrote about this song about how she had to start her life over. Oh, yeah, that relates to my experience of like when I started my life over because of blah, blah, blah. So just thinking about like the basic human emotions that other people can connect with.
Awesome.
Because that's, a lot of the music that I still listen to, I've connected with because of like that emotion. Just having something that other people can relate to and it doesn't have to be somebody else who's LGBT like me. Everybody struggles no
Yeah,
matter who you are, man, woman,
man, I
non-binary, whatever.
struggle. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
everybody struggles, everybody has their things that they're dealing with, and so I want my music to reach into that, to be like, hey, it's okay.
And give it a big warm hug.
Hmm.
Nice.
And also, to give voice to the community, the community I'm a part of. We're still
Yeah,
a
yeah.
minority in a lot of places, and just to give voice to tell our stories, because they deserve to be told.
Yeah, and on like a broader scale, like people that are scared to tell their stories or whatever's inside of them. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I don't even think I need to ask you the next question. I was like, what are people going to take away from that? But you just told us.
Yeah, like I want, and also like hope. I want people to feel hope. I want them to feel like, it's okay to be who you are, because I struggled for years with who I was. And I had a lot of shame. I had to undo a lot of shame about how I felt. And And, I had to unlearn even like little things like gender roles, being like, the first time I got into a relationship with a woman and realizing, oh, wait, I can give her flowers. Because girls, like, kind of growing up, were not really taught to give flowers. Like, the guy's supposed to do that. Which, by the way, when I was married to a guy, I did give him flowers because I'm like, men need flowers too.
Okay. You know what? It's a funny. Yeah. You know what we're supposed to get? Banana bread, apparently.
Really? Oh.
They did a study and they're like, what would a man want the most? They're like, banana bread won that shit.
I mean, banana bread is tasty.
Yeah, my daughter's making it upstairs right now, actually. It's the funniest
Oh, there you go.
Oh my gosh. Okay, bonus question.
Yes.
For anybody starting to make music as an artist for the first time ever in 2025, what's your advice to them?
You're going to write a lot of shitty songs before you get to the good ones. And allow yourself to make mistakes. And do not, and I say this as somebody who is the queen of beating herself up. Do not beat yourself up. And also know that your journey is going to look different from the next person.
Try not to copy at the same time.
Try not to copy. Yeah. Like, you can have your influences. Like, my influences, like I said, my influences are Tori Amos, Kate Bush, little Imogen Heap, like that kind of thing. But also it's important to find what your voice can do. I was a voice teacher for a number of years with School of Rock. And the thing that I always emphasized to my students was like finding songs that worked for their voice. Because when I took voice lessons, it was a lot like, oh, well, I only teach classical, so I'm going to fit you in this little box. But not everybody's voice is that way. And so I had a student, I had her for a couple of years. Like, she had this beautiful breathy voice. So we would sing Billie Eilish. We would sing a lot of those.
Because she almost whispers sometimes when she's singing, eh? Like really, really softly or whatever. Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of like French singers, because a lot of French singers do that, where like but also French music is like a lot of that is more about the lyrics rather than having like a big belty voice. But it's also important too, like going along with that, to find what your voice, your unique voice can do. No one is expecting Bob Dylan to sing Pavarotti, okay? Like, he knows his limits. So know your limits, but also don't think of it like, oh, I can't do this. Think of like, okay, well,
how can I do this?
How can I do this? Or like, what can, like, oh, if you have a naturally breathy voice, like lean into that like Billie Eilish did. Find your strengths and go for that. And don't be negative about it, because a lot of singing, a lot of the stuff is mental. If you think you can't do it, then you won't. And I dealt with that for years. So it's a lot of little advices here. But
the most introverted person I knew when I was younger. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like being able to get out there and find my voice or whatever and then present it to people is like the hardest thing I could ever do.
Yep.
Right? And now it's not a problem.
Yeah.
It works.
Because, you and I have each gone through our own journeys. And so that's something that you have to figure out as a singer or as an artist, what makes your stuff unique, and go for your strengths.
That's epic. All right. So what's next for you then? You're working on what right now?
So right now I'm going to be on a couple of different podcasts talking about my album. So my current project is From Shadows to Light, which is my album that's currently out on Spotify, iTunes, Bandcamp, wherever you get your music. And so
all DSPs, right?
Yeah, all the things. And so I'm kind of promoting that, and I'm also doing like little open mic nights around my area. And I've actually
videos of those for us. We want to see some of those.
Cool. I need to make sure I do more of those, because like I've got actually like on Instagram, I've got one of my highlights is live, and so it has some of the stuff I've done from there. So I'm kind of working on promoting that and doing like the different pieces of content where like I'm going through every song on my album and like doing photo slides things like that. But also like what's up next is I want to actually, one of my day jobs is that I play at a church, and I play keyboards and occasionally sing, and we have a drummer, and I want to do some songs with a drummer, like a real live drummer.
Nice.
So, And
Yeah, I'm trying to find one.
I've talked to him about it, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm down," because he's like in 5 or 6 other little groups. But eventually, to like do some gigs with him where he's playing, it's not just me. Where I've got a drummer, and I'm also doing my thing and doing my original music. So, what I've got coming up next is just working on what the next one's going to be, and trying to see about working with a drummer and doing music with him and
Yeah,
all
that's
that.
sweet. Yeah. I
Because
just told
like
my
one of
wife.
my because
It's
one
the
of my
same thing.
things is, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Just I was gonna say that also, like when I was a teenager, like I listened to a lot of female artists, and one of the things I was obsessed with Blondie, and like I was like, oh, I want to be the woman, like the main woman in the group, and all that. So that's kind of like how I would like to be, even though I'm not. I'm doing more. I'm just I'm kind of like Christine McVie at the piano and singing.
Man, I'm thinking
But
like White Stripes on a piano or something. You know what I mean?
oh
It's
yeah
like the
yeah
drummer
yeah.
and the guitar thing, but on a piano, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's sick. I love it. I love
Yeah.
the idea. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hopefully coming up there. And I know in a couple months at some point I'm gonna release a single called it was a song that I wanted to put on my album, but I didn't feel like it fit because it's about my parents. Like it's
Mm.
one of my storytelling songs, and it's actually the song that got me into the Proteus music contest. It's called East, and it's about my parents' journey going from California, moving here to the East Coast of the United States and starting a new life. And so that will be coming out in a couple of
Yo,
months.
I just figured out the place.
Oh, you did? What is it?
It's called Reston, Virginia.
Oh my God, that's close to where I grew up.
Nice.
Weston, yeah. Because
And
they
it's like
have
an
like
uppity little like village thing downtown. No, you're not allowed to
yes,
drive in it and stuff, right?
all the schnitzy, all the rich schnitzy people, and yeah,
Yes.
that's where I grew up. Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I was kind of almost close. I mean, I was thinking Richmond, but Reston, that makes more sense.
I have no clue where Richmond is, you know?
Well, it's like kind of central-ish Virginia. It's
Okay.
probably about like 2.5 hours from where I live, where I am right now.
I kind of drove through it, like getting there. I have no clue. Actually. Yeah. We were just on like GPS, like, please God, get us there, you know? Like okay, so how can people get involved with you, collaborate with you? Where do they find you? All the sweet stuff of how to get connected with you.
So I'm on Instagram at Lavender Fire Music. I'm basically on all the socials. I'm Lavender Fire Music. I like to keep it simple. I'm like just consistent across all the platforms. I'm also at lavenderfiremusic.com. So I have
Nice.
a
See?
website. And
Website, baby.
I also have a mailing list. So I send out a mailing list a couple times a month, and it's usually like kind of exclusive stuff like oh hey, the story behind this song, or like I try to open it up to people like, hey, what songs would you like to hear me cover, and stuff like that. So I'm also
Okay, I have a mailing list, but I'd never use it. I gotta learn how to do that properly, actually.
it takes a bit of practice because I had one too when I was doing music under my old name. But this, like, I've like, okay, I'm kind of consistently trying to do at least twice a month, sending out stuff to people so that, hey, they know I'm here. Hi.
Yeah, I gotta try something. Damn. That's cool that you do it though, because like half the people, or more than half of the interviews that I've done, they don't have a website. It's wild to me.
That doesn't surprise me because I mean, a lot of people are on the social networks. But also the reason I have like a website is because not everybody is on those social networks.
Right. And imagine one of them just goes away. Where's all that content gone, right?
Exactly.
That's why you need to have that, right? Is to have like your own home base that nobody else owns but you, right?
And that's why also I have a mailing list, because not everybody sees your stuff because of the algorithms. So it's good to own your audience.
And there's this old adage in like the e-com era of like the early 2000s when like websites were like popping off with AdSense and everything. And it's like the email list is like the key to the heart on the internet or whatever. You know what I mean? Once you're in their personal mailbox, now you've got them forever kind of thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, man. It's so important on the side of all this social media stuff. So yeah, we've got your link tree, I believe, down below there for anybody so they can access all that stuff from you. But yeah, that's it for the interview.
Yay!
Thanks for coming on. Honestly, it's been amazing. I
Oh,
told
thank
you it'd be
you.
epic.
Well, and thank you so much for having me. Like, I love coming on and talking about my music, sharing my story.
Heck
You know,
yeah.
because it's more than just the music. You know, there's I got a whole artist story, and it's good to share that with people.
Well,
Like
and that's
you.
why we made this thing, right? Because I was going to all those review shows and I was like, you hear the music, but you don't really know who the hell's behind that thing, right? So it's like we got to pull this stuff out of you guys so that we can get the full picture of why this stuff is made, right?
Right. And also like in this digital age too, like you have to have like your story and being able to like connect emotionally with people because
Right.
that's where you get those people who then follow you for life.
Yeah, that's probably the most important thing is like sharing, being able to connect with them so that they stay, right? Apart from an
Exactly.
algorithm. Right.
Mhm.
But yeah, otherwise we are done here. It's been a great time talking to you on the show here. Thank you everybody else for coming too.
Yay, thank you for all the people watching. Yay. Thank you.
And
Merci beaucoup.
everybody else enjoy your afternoon on this Sunday. Cheers.
Indeed.